So my previous video was around the best players in this year's Six Nations Fantasy Rugby. But are there any decent cheap players in fantasy? Well, today I go through the best cheap players in my opinion. So let me know what you think, and without further ado, let's get into the video. Now, Gavin Coombs has been immense for months of this season, and last. He's a real try-scoring threat, having scored in his first start for Ireland against the USA. Not to mention, he's already scored 20 tries for Munster in only 45 appearances. Now, I know that has competition with the likes of Doris, who has also been immense, but maybe there's a way to include them both on that Irish back row. But at 8 stars, how can you ignore him? Even if he's on the bench, he's a great option potentially for your super sub. Brex and Mori offer Italy with a destructive midfield, and both have been in great form for their club sides. At only 8 and 9 stars, the two are a great option if you're running low on budget. Also, I don't think that many other players will have the confidence to put them into their squad. And with the restrictions of only having 4 from each nation, these two are able to get through plenty of carries and also plenty of tackling. So keep these in mind. Matt Fagerson and Magnus Bradbury are the standout picks for that Scottish 8 shirt. If I were to bet on it, I would say that Magnus Bradbury would probably be starting 8, as he's been absolutely brilliant for Edinburgh. So just keep in mind that one necessarily isn't nailed on to start, due to the other's form being so good. So remember to check the team sheet. But Fagerson has also been Scotland's 8 in the past year or so. Therefore, at 9 stars, he's a great option too. Yet another dilemma pick here is Rob Herring and Ronan Kelleher. They're the standout cheap picks at hooker for me. At 10 and 11 stars, they cannot be overlooked, especially with Kelleher's late inclusion into the British and Irish Lions squad. Ireland have also developed their set-piece game under Andy Farrell, so I expect whoever is at the back of that maul will benefit greatly. I actually think Ireland have an outside chance of winning the tournament this year. Their form of late has been great, especially with that win over New Zealand, so don't count them out. Current Wales captain, with Alun Jones injured of course, Ellis Genge and the in-form Tyne Basham look to be a real great pick for that Welsh back row. Jenkins is nailed on if he can keep fit, and at 10 stars that price is one of the cheapest, especially for a captain who plays 7 and who gets through loads of work. Basham is at 11 stars and is less nailed on, with Moriarty in the fray in his position. But the Welsh back row always performs, especially with 3 home games this year. They always play well at the Principality Stadium. So keep an eye out when selecting your back row. On to more back row headache for you now, is Simmons and Dombrandt. They are probably the standout cheap options this year at 11 and 12 stars. Can you believe that Alfie Barbary is actually more expensive than Sam Simmons, a previous European Player of the Year? I can't get my head around that one. But with England looking to play a new style called New England by Eddie Jones, maybe this is the time when Simmons and Dombrandt can assert themselves into the side. But there is always Tom Curry, who Eddie Jones loves, and can also play 8. But saying that, there's not a huge amount of flankers in their squad. So just be wary of the England team sheet, because they could score some serious points this year with a fresh look squad. Another Irish pair now in Jordan Lama and Andrew Conway. With the exclusion of James Lowe in this year's Six Nations, it leaves the door open for another Irish winger. Keith Earls will probably start, but there is a chance that both Lama and Conway play. At 12 and 11 stars, they're still relatively cheap compared to the other nations' wingers. For example, Ollie Hassel-Collins is 11 stars, but for me he's far less likely to play than say Lama or Conway. So a great option, especially for the in-form Irish side, that in my view have a great chance of winning. And finally, but definitely not least, is Melvin Jaminet. Having only played a handful of top 14 games before his first French cap, Jaminet has come into the squad and made the 15 shirt his own. Although there is high competition with Doolan and Ramos, Jaminet seems to be the favourite. and at 12 stars he seems like one of the best picks. Not to mention he's a fullback, and we all know my thoughts on fullbacks for scoring points. He also takes goal kicks, so even more chance to score more points. Probably the best cheap pick this year. What do you guys think? So that's the end of today's video. Thanks for watching. Just remember that the team sheets are likely to come out on Thursday and Friday afternoon. So when all the team sheets are out, I'll bring out a video with a draft team for the opening weekend of the Six Nations. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. Be sure to subscribe and turn notifications on so that you don't miss a team selection video. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.